February 19th, 2013. Our stand is Mayor Fry.
Good morning. I inspire us to police and oversee the daily task of government. We so set goals for the benefit of the borough. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here.
Here.
Ms. Wallace? Here. Ms. Warwick?
Here.
Ms. Rafter? Here. Ms. Wright? Here. And White?
Here.
First up for public participation is Cindy Fry.
Yes, good evening, Madam President. I asked you last week regarding the grants that were written. Thank you very much. Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Excuse me, Madam President, was there any money that was allotted for these grants so far, as if you're aware?
The land, well, and streetscape, we got 110,000.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that it?
Yes, thank you.
Eleanor Short.
Hi. I understand that you're going to replace Harry Fry as Civil Service Commissioner. He's got a 2-year term. Pardon? I'm Harry Murray. And he has a 2-year term. He didn't come on until November of 2011. So his term is not up until November of 2013.
That's a legal question, and the solicitor is rendering an opinion on that. Do you have a specific question?
Why are you replacing him?
His term is up.
It's not up until November.
That's a legal issue.
Can we have that in writing?
Yeah, make a request, we have to give it to you.
I don't understand that it's a legal issue.
I don't understand either.
Right, what constitutes a legal issue is a question of law. When does the term start, when does the term end? It's a question of law. It's what's set forth in the statutes governing borough council, borough government in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
So you're changing the ordinance or is the law?
It's not changing the law nor the ordinance.
Okay.
So what we're doing is making sure that the law is complied with.
Okay, I have our rules
Okay.
here. I'll read them to you.
Well, public participation is not really intended to have a situation where you're reading what is said in your rules. You can tell me what rule you're looking at, and I'll be happy to read it. We need to take it this time. I will read it out loud.
Civil Service Commission to 1.
Sorry, civil service 2-1.
Always replacing another jerk off.
It's ridiculous. That your residents, they want to speak up and you're shutting them down.
Well,
It's just crazy. Unbelievable.
nobody's shutting them down.
You are.
Public participation.
You're talking in circles, you're talking of things
Is
you
there a
don't
role
even
for public
understand.
participation?
There are rules of public participation.
On the back, but that's
On the back of the agenda. Public and members of the public can stand up, make a statement, they can pose a question, which is to be directed to the president of the council. And it is not a situation, public participation is not reading the rules or making assertions. If you have a specific question, you can ask a specific question. What you've done is you've made an assertion that the civil service commissioner still has his term of office. That's a legal issue, it's something that's been decided by the solicitor. You've asked for a written report, you'll receive that. You make a written report available to the public. They can read it at any time.
So you're saying the solicitor made a rule or a law?
No,
No.
what he did was he looked at the statute and looked at the facts and found that under the statute and the facts, the term of Mr. What was that?
Harry Murray.
When was that? The date of the expiration?
I don't know.
It just all comes down to is they wanna carry out, they wanted somebody that they're acquainted with to they
Well, there's
come
laws
to this.
against that
Yeah.
too.
Whatever, I never, where's Mr. Santarelli? I never thought I'd say that.
Mr. Santarelli is on the element.
So, will I get an answer to this question?
We'll get a copy of the written opinion. We have an address. And if you give us your address, we'll be happy to send you.
849 Taylor Drive.
Could you send one to Harry Murray too, because he's questioning it too and he couldn't be here tonight?
He can come to the borough office and take a look at the one that'll be available to everybody.
So do we get a list on when everybody else's term is up to? Or that isn't decided yet? Excuse me, Cliff, I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to think out loud. We didn't put the terms on the website. Council President wants to.
Yeah. We'll put the terms on the website.
Sure.
But I think Eleanor says she has a copy of the terms here with her.
Well, if she wants to make a copy of what she has and hand it over to me, that's fine. She gave me the citation to the document that she's looking at. I'll check that.
So you didn't get an answer anyway? You never get an answer.
The short answer is that his term is up.
Who decided
But we have reason to believe that his term is not up in writing.
That's wrong.
You were the first council that has done that because this council, the council before us, has always done it that way.
I don't know
Always.
what that way means. But I can tell
If
you
he
this.
was put on in November 11 for 2 years, he was done November 13.
How do you just
You
remove
just-
somebody, like, you know, they're
Go do what you want.
volunteering their, you know, work and you just see you bye.
The law is sometimes interpreted certain ways by certain attorneys. The fact that this is
Ain't
followed
that the truth?
is not necessarily that it's accurate or in accordance with. Now, I didn't render the decision, Mr. Santarelli did the research.
So if we get a
That's why
different
I'm asking, that's
solicitor,
why
then he might make a different rule, right?
I will ask
What's
Mr.
that?
Santarelli to put in writing the basis of the determination that he's previously made, and we'll make it available to everybody, so that you understand why the determination was made that Mr. Murray was not, was no longer in office, why his term was ended.
So if he was appointed in November of 2011, did that automatically retroactively back to January 2011? Because now it's January of 2013. That's 2 years.
I have not
Or
read, I have
does
not,
it go to
I have
2012?
not read the opinion that, I have not read anything that provides me to understand what Mr. Santarelli's basis is, which is why
It sounds like he either lost 10 months of work.
Yeah, but that
Or
could go
it's
on for
losing-
the other two solicitors as well, the civil service, right?
I'm sorry.
That could go on
No.
to involve the other two civil service people also?
I don't understand, I don't know the answer to the question, because I don't fully understand the question.
I think they're asking is, can this council appoint and replace people at their whim?
No. And it
Well,
has-
that is the appearance they're giving.
I don't think so. When
Well,
you have-
yes, it
when you have a
is.
His
solicitor-
time isn't up.
When you have a solicitor who has taken a look at what the statute says,
And that
and what the
solicitor,
facts are.
that solicitor bends to the whims of the council that hired him.
Well, that's your opinion, that's not a statement of fact.
That's what it appears to be.
So should we
That's
get
your- that's
another
your
opinion of
perception.
another solicitor then?
The borough has one solicitor and one assistant solicitor. And during their term in office, they are the solicitors. So if you want to go and talk to another solicitor, that other solicitor doesn't have any influence on what is recommended to the borough council.
So they all don't have the same rules?
There's one set of rules, you know.
And council
You can
has
make
no
it-
say over what the solicitor suggests?
that's-
Who approves that or votes on
A
that?
solicitor is someone who's an attorney at law, a member of the bar.
To represent the town and council?
One person speaking to town, no, not to represent the town and council. Solicitor is retained to provide his or her services based upon their experience and training in reading statutes, explaining what they are, taking the facts and applying it to the statute, and then informing the council as to what can or cannot be done within the limits of the law. There are people who make political decisions. It is unfair to simply assume because the prior solicitors had a different interpretation that this council or Mr. Santarelli is not acting in accordance with the law. It could be the other way around. But there's no need to get in that debate. If you only one person at a time, please. If you want to know what Mr. Santarelli's opinion is, we will provide it. I will ask him to reduce it to writing if he hasn't already done so, and it will be available here in the borough for anyone to read.
I'd like to, if he was elected in November of 2011,
I'm
I'd like to know
gonna
exactly
step
when.
in for a second. Listen, here's the deal. Nobody's being appointed tonight on the Civil Service Commission. The question's been asked. He's given his answer, Mr. Iannelli. Let's move on, because we're just going round and round on this. We gotta move on. Cindy, I understand what you're saying. He's got his opinion. We've got our opinions. We've already said all that. Let's move on from it, and we can ask this after the meeting as well, because we're not gonna get anywhere doing this back and forth. It's not going anywhere.
We're not appointing anybody tonight.
No,
We have to look at.
We're not appointing anyone tonight, so you have a month.
Yep.
You have a month to handle all this, to work all this out.
Thank you.
Joe, I don't know what the last name is.
First of all, like I had said before, why don't you have a mic system so everyone can hear what's going on? What the gentleman's answer was to the question that was asked. Number one, I've said that before. I didn't hear a thing, neither did the fellow sitting beside me. We're taxpayers, we should have the liberty of hearing what the hell is going on. Now, my question is to, your name's Joe Pasanti?
Yeah,
You're the CPA?
not a CPA, I'm the finance.
I can't hear you.
I'm the finance director.
Finance, all right. How much money do you handle in the course of the year for fault fraud?
I don't handle anything that goes in my hand. I don't collect any of the money. I just pay the
All right,
bills.
the monies you handle, do you write checks?
Yes.
All right, are they certified?
I mean, what do you mean
I
certified?
mean, are they valid?
Yeah, they bounce, absolutely they bounce.
Who's assignees of these
It
checks?
varies. Council can sign them, the borough
The
secretary.
council, well, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, you got 7
I don't
counts.
know exactly who's on the signature cards. Right now, the borough secretary and myself sign the checks. Council President Rofsky can sign the checks too. You need 2 signatures on every check.
2 signatures,
Yes.
that's yours?
It could be mine, it could be Borough Secretary Lasko, it could be Council President Rofsky.
Is that the way it's set up,
Right now, yes.
right now? Is it gonna change?
It varies, it can change at any time if they want a different
Okay.
signature.
Now, when you make a checkup, do you get an invoice
Yeah, they
or
go
a
through
receipt?
They get a voucher, they get the invoice comes in, it gets a voucher put through.
Is it verified that
Let me finish,
voucher?
I'm gonna tell you, just answer my question, let me answer your question. The bill comes in, a voucher's attached to it, discussing how much it is, what it's for, what account it goes to. It's signed off by one of the council chair people, comes to me, and then I sign off on it and cut the check.
And one of the council members sign it, it's authorized.
Depending on their department, yes.
You ever inquire to see if it's authentic, that
Yes.
voucher?
Yes.
You
It
do?
goes through 3 or 4 hands, absolutely.
Okay.
And we look to see if the product is there and so forth. The utility bills and the health insurance and stuff comes through the same.
In other words, the public can come in and see exactly what you
Absolutely,
did?
absolutely.
Okay, all right, now, number 2, this is for that fellow sitting beside you, talking about a war. That hits me, it's a bad spot. I want to ask that Basso there if he was ever in uniform.
All right.
Now,
Mr.
just a moment.
Armando, that's uncalled
No,
for.
no, just
I'm
a moment.
sorry.
Now, Mr.
No,
Milano,
he's talking about, hold
Mr.
it,
Romano,
he's
you
talking
will
about
hear
a
my voice
war.
now. You will hear my voice now. You have on the back of the agenda, what are the rules for public comment and participation? And rule number 3 is this comment period is not a question and answer session. All comment must be directed to the presiding officer. Board members shall not be questioned individually. You've been given leeway in asking Mr. Paseni questions. You've stepped over the line by making a personal comment about someone.
No,
Ask
just
your
a,
question, pose your question
Just a moment.
to the president
it's
of the
not
council.
over the line. He used the word that he's gonna fight for the overrun of the sewer system. He wrote it in the paper, war. He mentioned the word war.
All right, so what's your question?
I want to find out if he knows what the word war is.
I believe he does, I believe everyone in
Okay?
this room
No,
does.
I'm not asking you, I'm asking
It doesn't
him.
make any difference.
Yes, it does.
You have to you have
Am I,
to.
did I direct the question to you?
No, you direct them to the president.
Okay, I directed the question to him.
You direct the question to the
All
president.
right.
She has nothing to do with
Do you know what the word war is?
Yes, I do so.
Do you know what it is? You know what's going on today? Okay? He wants to fight this overrun in court. Is that correct?
I know nothing about that, so.
You know nothing about it? Well, ask him. It was in the paper. Ask him. Will you ask him that question?
I have no idea what article he's talking about.
He's a liar.
Can I see
That man is a liar and he's a
All right,
creep.
Mr. Armando.
And don't tell me he's not.
All right, Mr. Armando.
I know. Hey, listen, you. Don't tell me to shut up.
I didn't tell you to
Because
shut
I'm a veteran of the Second World War.
Yes.
I fought for people like you.
Yes, I know that.
You do? You don't know me.
I don't know you.
So don't tell
but
me that kind of crap. Just shut up. And I've been a constable for 18 years, and I know what lawyers are.
Please sit down.
Okay?
Please sit down, your time is up.
Don't tell me to sit down. The questions here are asked are not answered. Every time I ask a question, it's not answered. And that goes to a prejudice in there, which says we fight for our own. We take care of our own. I'm a veteran of the Second World War. All of us, all the service branches of service, fought for all the people, not our own. And don't forget it.
Colleen Calabra.
I have a couple questions. First question, is I'm gonna ask again. There was a business association meeting. Was that initiated by Nick Miccarelli or was that initiated by Fallcroft? And revitalization?
Cliff?
It was initiated by Representative Miccarelli, who asked to meet with the members of the commission. The meeting was not held because his schedule changed.
Okay. All right, I just wanted to get clarity on that.
I heard it.
Okay. The other question I have is about our EIT tax. Now, because our budget was not passed early in time, is it correct that we are now paying the 1%?
Yeah.
No, you're paying, you should be paying half, your employer should be withholding it at 0.5%.
But it's
Why is
not
that
listed
now?
in
Not
media
yet.
or wherever they go to look,
No,
it's
no.
still listed as 1%.
Because they're going by the official register on DCED site.
Why
If
is
you go
that?
on the site, it says 1%.
Well, then we'll have to correct it, because DCD, I spoke to Karen O'Neill, I sent her the ordinance, I also sent First Keystone the ordinance, or Keystone Collections the ordinance. That's all they requested was the ordinance, and I sent it to both of them, so they should know that.
But is
DCED
it-
told me it had to be
I
in by
pay 1%,
December
and I
1st,
get my check from the borough full
for
cost.
the register.
And
And
I
if
have my
not, it's
stuff
late,
right
so
here.
you pay 1%.
Is it
And
correct
when I
that you
told
have to pay
Keystone,
that till
Keystone
June?
told me the same
Well,
thing.
you don't pay the 1%, that's what they have
And
on
then
the
we can
website.
change it
No,
in
they're taking
June.
1% out of my pay.
No, but your employer shouldn't do that.
They won't do that. They
Listen,
said
the
no, they
DCD's not, I don't understand, DCD's not the gospel, that's just a,
But they go by the official, the employers, that's the register they look at. And
yeah,
for
but that's
Buffalo, it says-
that's fine, the DCD didn't say anything about having it in by the 15th, or we had to pass it by December 1st. And the point is, they gotta go by the ordinance, the law on the books is Fallcroft Borough, and that has it at 0.5%. So it's up to the employers, just similar if you were looking to move into a town and you wanted to know what the real estate taxes were, the state taxes, the federal taxes, it's up to the individual to correct that. Your employer should be withholding at 0.5%.
They haven't been notified officially, so they can't withhold
You're
only,
not gonna be
but,
notified officially. What happens is, like any taxing agency, we just have to put it out publicly, which it is. It's on the website, the TV channel, and Keystone Collection sending it out accordingly like that.
I
Your
work-
employer's gotta find that out on their own.
I work for the borough of Fallcroft, and
Yeah,
my last 3 checks, every single one, from this
being
year,
corrected.
is
I
one,
know, I
that
know
was
that.
1%.
That's being
As
corrected.
of last week, it was still
Yeah,
1%.
we corrected with prime pay, but the point is, if your employer wants to hold at 1%, when you go to file your return next year, you'll get a refund. You'll file.
So you made this budget change to 0.5%, but if the borough wishes to hold 1% for the year, then they're gonna pay me back the other 0.5%
So I work
next
for
year?
Grocer Keystone, so there, you expect
Is that
every
right?
employee that lives in Falkirk to call them and, hey, drop me down to 0.5%. They're
They
not
won't
gonna
do
go
it.
by that.
They don't do it.
That's ridiculous.
No, the employer, what's gonna happen is the employers in Fallcroft should be withholding a point, 0.5%. If you're getting 1% withheld from your employer in another town, when you go to file your return next year, if you make 40 grand, in theory you'd owe 400 bucks. So if they withheld 400 bucks, you should only pay 200, you'll get a $200 refund. You'll get your money back whether you file a return or your employer follows the ordinance of the borough.
But in the meantime, you're gonna use my other 0.5%.
No,
For the whole year, and then give it
we've
back to
corrected,
me.
we've corrected the situation in the borough, but you should be getting 0.5% moving forward. And what'll happen is, if you overpaid, yours is like 160 bucks a week or whatever, if you overpaid to $1.60 or whatever it is, you'll get, 80 cents back.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, we've advertised it, it's law, it was passed, it's an ordinance, I sent it to the correct agencies, it's up to the employer now to follow the law of the borough that they operate in. And if your employer doesn't want to do that, when you file your local income tax return next year, you'll get a refund of 0.5%. You'll absolutely get it back.
But in the meantime, we can take it from you.
So in the meantime, they're gonna, until it changes where they go to look, they're not gonna change that. They're not, the payroll company is not gonna deduct.
Well, then I do another payroll. When I tell my payroll company to change the tax, they have to change the tax. They're working for me. I mean, the law's on the books. That's the only way, it's law. So if if there's a gas station down the street that has 10 employees, and they call the borough and know it's 0.5% earned income tax, they're required to withhold 0.5%. If they want to keep withholding 1% and screw their employees,
But how are they notified? That's what I wanna know. I have an employer who the owner of the company doesn't even live in Fallcroft. Doesn't even live in Fallcroft.
If your federal taxes or your state
He's in
taxes,
Maine somewhere.
are
How's he
lowered,
know that he's gotta
if
notify,
your real estate, for example, if your real estate taxes get lowered, we don't notify every individual. If there's a newspaper article, it's up to the individual, the mortgage company to find that out. It's the same thing with your local tax. We can't contact every individual and let them know how much stuff. There was a newspaper article on it, it's on the website, it's on the TV channel. I don't know how else your employees should know this stuff. The towns I
But there is a place that they go to, that the payroll company automatically goes to, and it's telling them 1%. I already argued with my payroll company.
So did I.
Who's your payroll company?
It's Wiggins.
Okay, I mean, you want us to contact, I can put a letter out to Wiggins, Paychecks, ADP, they're the biggest payroll companies. I can put a letter out to them, I'll gladly do that. It's not a problem, and we'll attach the ordinance form. It's not that difficult. We can't notify every individual business. It's up to them to find the taxes in the borough. But I'll gladly do that to the payroll company. That's not a problem at all.
Now, my real concern is that there is a place that they're looking, and the place that they're looking isn't giving them the right answer.
Well, I
And
can only tell you.
I can find out where it is that they're looking and get back to you to let you know.
That's correct. I talked to Karen O'Neill from Keystone, from DCED. That's who I was told to send the ordinance to. I did that. I didn't do it by December 1st because we didn't have the budget passed. But she didn't say anything that she had to have it by December 1st. I sent it to her. She has it. And, if it's not on the official registry up there, I didn't know that. So we can contact payroll companies. I mean, but
Pull it up, Joe, it gives you like the law.
no, I understand what you're talking about.
It had to be
But
in
they
by
didn't tell me.
December
They said all I had to do was
1st.
send in the ordinance, which I did, and I also sent it to our collection company in town. You're not going to lose the money if your employer continues to collect it at 1%. Like I said, when you file your return next year, you'll get that 0.5% back. When you get the forms, it'll have 0.50 on it. You'll get it back. You're not losing it. But your employer should follow the ordinance. I can give you a copy of the ordinance. It's on the books and it's official. I mean, they should be doing it properly.
The other question I have is, who monitors like the air quality control around here, and what are the businesses, and what chemicals and stuff that they're allowed to emit into the air and stuff like that? I don't know what the company is. It's on Ashland Avenue. It's on the left-hand side. It's down past the down by where the roller rink and all but there is a company back in that area that you can hear this air or whatever is blasting, and it happens. I couldn't tell you how many times, but I know the last time it was very foggy, very cloudy out, and very rainy. And it seems like every time it's hazy out, this company is blowing something into the air. and it's very loud,
Was that last
very
week?
loud, yes.
Because it was happening in front of Delcoff School.
Yep,
Mhm.
it sounds like it's,
Yes.
I mean, it's
Mhm.
very loud. What are they blowing in the air? I have no idea what this company is and what it is that they're blowing. You can see, if you drive by the building, I didn't catch the name, but you can see
Is
this,
it on the right or left side?
it's on the left side.
Is it louder than a truck would be?
Yes,
Yes.
The average?
yes.
Mhm. You can hear it at the school.
I can hear it on the corner of,
Is it a
Delmar and
daily
Oak,
thing,
across
or
by
is
the,
it-
Numerous
school
times a
district
day.
building.
Numerous times, but it's quite loud to the point where, and I'm in front of the school, and I know it's behind the school, but it's just very loud, and then people go, what is that? And I'm like, I have no idea, but I'm wondering myself. But you can hear it.
I work back in that area, it is numerous times a day.
Do you know the company?
I don't know the company name, it appears to be some sort of manufacturing process that involves steam, and the release you sent here is a release of steam pressure. And that is pretty much 7 days a week also. They're the very next driveway after the back driveway for the hockey rink.
It's the driveway after the hockey rink?
The very next one, right on the other side of the bushes.
That could be Darby Township too, Madam President.
I
The
believe
Industrial
that's
Park
ours.
branches off into Darby Township, so some of it's ours, some of it's theirs, and slices up kind of like in the middle of the street, so we've never had this complaint that I've been aware of, but there are some new buildings down there that township has put in. I'll ride around in Mars if I hear anything, but this is the first time hearing about it.
Did it a lot over the summer, but it just seemed like it was really cloudy and really foggy and very weird that I was hearing it again.
What time of day?
It was, I want to say about 11, might have been like lunchtime. I believe it was the day the kids got out for early dismissal day. So it would have been,
12:30.
yep.
It's usually between 11 and 12:30.
Is that it, Molly?
That's it.
Moving on in the agenda, do I have a motion to approve the minutes for January 2013 committee and council?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Strausky?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson? Yes. Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. McGuigan?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Mrs. Wright?
Yes. Motion carries. Can I have a motion to approve the bill list?
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second that.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Strausky?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson? Yes. Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. Baldry?
Yes.
Mr. McGuigan?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Mrs. Wright?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. At this time, we have a new substitute crossing guard. We would like to make a motion to appoint Dolores Denenis. Dolores Denenis as a substitute crossing guard.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second that.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Strausky?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. Baldry?
Yes.
Mr. McGuigan?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Mrs. Wright?
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor Fry, can you please swear Dolores in?
I state your name.
Dolores Denenis.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and I will discharge my duties
and
and that I will discharge my duties as school crossing guard for the borough of Fulcroft with fidelity, so help me God.
Congratulations.